Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a video here today titled "Woman Has a Meltdown After Man Doesn't Want Her Back." You know, we hear in modern day media all the time how men are emotionally fragile, we're really aggressive, things like this. But what a lot of society doesn't want to show you is when the women are acting absolutely crazy and when they have meltdowns. So without further ado, let's jump right in. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments.
You're blocking my car. You are blocking my vehicle and stalking me. Leave me alone. Dude, this is literally... Dude, I'm gonna die, bro. I'm dead ass gonna die one day, bro. This is literally insane.
You can't always get what you want, but if you think these women will accept that, think again. Today we're looking at women who have a meltdown after men don't want them back. This one's gonna get crazy, folks.
Until this day, I get blamed for how severely he screwed my life up. Thank you.
It always gets me when the piano music starts playing, man. Something about it is just, you know, so hilarious to me because the women are the ones who are adding this piano music. So they sit there, they set up their little camera, they wait until they're crying, you know, they record themselves crying, and then they put the dramatic piano music over the top, hoping that you will feel sympathy for them.
I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't drink anything without feeling pain, true pain. And I get blamed for feeling this way. And it is just ridiculous how someone can hurt you so much, and just expect you to move on from it and not care and just move on like as if nothing happened. And I will never wish this pain on anyone.
If you're gonna deliver this type of rejection to a woman in front of the camera, you'd better be prepared for the possibility that she's about to absolutely own you on the mic.
And I popped my balloon just because the way you walked up, like you seemed a little more masculine than I would like. So, yeah.
That's fair.
Sorry. Yeah.
Which is very bizarre because you seem very feminine. So I guess it's just not a match.
And what makes him seem feminine?
He got his taco meat out, the nose ring. It's a whole lot of.
But if you thought that was a...
I love how she only gets salty, by the way, after he rejected her in the first place, right? Like, again, guys, right? These women, it's all, they're totally fine to have their standards, but when you have your standards, it becomes a bit of an issue, right? They don't particularly like it. Like, if you're a man and you say that you don't want a masculine woman, a lot of women these days are going to be completely pissed off at you. Very interesting.
The nose ring.
Get a load of how this guy deals with a half-baked attack from this woman.
Oh, I disagree with the fact that you think that women, because they don't make enough money, they can't get certain men and stuff like that. Yeah, I do disagree with that.
When did I ever say that?
You said it to several women, actually.
No.
When did Kevin Samuels ever say that a woman's earnings disqualify her from having a certain quality of dude? I haven't really heard any men say this, let alone Kevin Samuels, right? And this is because we as men, we really do not care about your income. Your income, right? A lot of women think that this is a really big deal, right? It makes all the difference. But let me tell you right now, dudes do not care about how much money is in your bank account, man. Right? It works the other way around. That's where all of the women get confused. They think that because they care about a man's money, that we care about their money.
No, you're actually 100% wrong. Put hearts up to let this woman know how wrong she is.
Okay.
Because I tell you, men don't care about your money.
Oh, no. It's not the money. It's the way they look. That's it. It's not the money. It's the way they look.
What about the way they look? About their weight?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I see women with weight on them with men who make money, who have, you know, make decent money or whatever.
So this is another one. This is another woman who comes in half-ass talking points. Now, get understand. She basically tried to come in and say that the problem is men. The problem is there are not enough men with money who are straight looking for women. Wrong. It's that many of you women are unfit for the men you're looking for. You're physically unfit, you're emotionally unfit, you're psychologically unfit, you're relationally unfit.
Sometimes
This woman here was, man, I don't like people like this, right? Notice how deceptive she is. She comes in, she says one thing, and then she changes it, and then she's vague about what she's trying to say, and then she gets called out, and they do that little, you know, these faces as though Kevin's being unreasonable here. Okay? And just because, so this woman is saying here, she's basically saying, listen, I'm overweight, and I want someone to validate my idea that even though I'm overweight, I can get a rich man, right? But, you know, if you're a woman and you don't take care of your health, do not expect to get a rich man, okay? Get out of here.
getting your ego checked is the best thing that can happen to you. And for our money, this dude is ruthless in this department.
There's no 10s at this table.
But that's your opinion.
It's not my...
It's an opinion, it's not fact.
No, but there's an objective component to beauty. If you were a 10, you would not need to wear makeup.
So are you saying to be a 10, you have to be a model?
This woman has nothing going on behind her eyes. My goodness, man. My goodness.
Because that's what you said.
We're talking about your looks, your physical beauty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So by you saying
you asked
that
us what we thought about ourselves.
Your self-perception does not determine the reality or how other people see you in the world.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Do you think all women are 10s?
No.
Can you think in your mind right now of a guy who you think is unattractive?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you think of a guy who you've ever encountered who thinks he's hot shit but isn't?
Oh, yeah.
Now, what if that guy said he was a 10?
Well, then that's his opinion. Like,
but is he wrong?
I might not agree
But is he wrong?
Some other girl might think he's a 10.
Yeah.
Let's be so for real. If any of us were a 10, we'd be on Miss Universe or like Miss America, whatever that pageant show is.
And we're not saying...
It's crazy to me, man, that these women, like this girl right here, they will just defend their point until the end, right? You're not a 10. You're not anywhere close to a 10. You live in fantasy land, and you need to get the hell out of it, man. Some of these women have never been told no their entire life. They have never been rejected outright by a guy. They've been rejected for commitment, right? But that's a little bit different. Usually the guy will be really vague about it because he wants to string her along for some fun. A lot of these women are just never outright told no. So they live in this fantasy land where they think that they're oh so attractive and yeah, I can be overweight and do this behavior and that behavior and I can still get a man. Okay, we'll check back in with you when you're 40 and we'll see how you've done. Okay, how about that? Goodness.
Be on Miss Universe or like Miss America, whatever that pageant show is.
And we're not saying that getting broken up with is easy, but some of these women are better at handling it than others. That's for sure.
I think the real reason why it's so hard to let go, why it takes so long, is because you still have hope. And when you've loved someone unconditionally for so long, it doesn't really end. No matter how many times you tell yourself that it's really over for you in your heart, it isn't. But remember, no matter how much you love them, no matter how hard you try, you can never make the wrong person the right person for you.
This next one is the type of tantrum you'd expect from a 4-year-old. But this is no toddler. This is a grown woman in a very public place.
Bro, that is absolutely crazy. This is not a girlfriend. This is not a wife. This is someone who never grew up whatsoever, man. I think a lot of guys, they get into relationships with women who at one point or another, they pull crap like this. Like they will throw full-on tantrums and all of this sort of thing. I think that you should just throw the whole woman out. She's not relationship material. She's not wife material. She's a damn psycho. Holy...
If you ask a question that demands a blunt response, don't be surprised if you don't like the answer. This woman learned this lesson in a pretty hilarious fashion.
What was the first thing you noticed about me?
First thing I noticed.
Be honest. Completely honest, because your ick was honesty.
Am I real?
Is that important? Is that important?
This next one is all kinds of messy.
Isn't it funny, guys, how like the woman pretends to be all insulted and shocked? She's like, how dare you? She's got that how dare you face on, you know, and it's like, of course, if you dress a certain way, dudes are going to perceive you a certain way. I think it's really funny in society right now, guys, how people will present themselves one way, and then they'll get really frustrated when you treat them that way because they think that they don't owe anybody anything, right? I see a lot of individuals these days who are like, I can wear whatever I want, I can do whatever I want, and then they get all offended, or at least they pretend to, when people come along and judge them. It's pretty damn ridiculous if you ask me, but let's keep going.
To ask an overly direct question and gets disgusted by the response he receives. We gotta admit, this one was pretty hilarious.
If you were to look at me and rate me on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate me?
I like a 6.
What are these men? They are f***ing savages. They must have been from the f***ing Ice Age.
The whole idea of the traditional man and traditional woman has indeed changed a lot over the years. But this woman really seems to have her own ideas about the subject.
Address too.
Go on.
They always be saying they want a traditional woman, like, oh, can you cook? Can you do it? You not a traditional man.
Thank you.
Be
Tell
a
them
traditional
again.
man. Is you even a breadwinner, boo? Sit down.
Anyway, thank you so much
Can
for
you
this
change your
interview.
tire? Yeah.
You.
Done.
Have you built a house?
Have you built a house, baby? Y'all want traditional women. Y'all not traditional men. Period.
They don't deserve a traditional woman.
No, you don't. You don't, boo.
And how's that working out for you? I see this argument a lot, guys, that like these women, they're going to hold out their femininity until they find a masculine man. Can you imagine if men were out here doing the same things, right? It's like, I'm not going to be masculine until a woman decides to cook me dinner. So, you know, if a woman doesn't like me walking around in dresses and high heels, then that means she's not a real woman. You see what I'm saying, guys? If dudes walked around and they said the same thing, they'd sound incredibly stupid, okay? But these girls, it's like they want to switch on being a wife only after the dude pays them. That's not how this works, okay? Men understand this. You've got dudes who are going out there right now. They're working hard. They're working on their bodies, okay? They're getting their finances up. They're studying. They're doing their thing, right? Working on themselves. I mean, I don't think this woman has picked up a cookbook forever. To be honest with you, I don't think she's ever picked up a single one. And you mean to tell me that she's going to magically switch into traditional girlfriend mode when she meets a traditional man? The traditional men won't even look at you. That's how this works, right? The dudes who have put the work in, who have got the finances, who would love to take care of a woman and look after her and things like this, the traditional men that you're looking for, they're not going to look your direction because you're a pain in the backside.
You should be submissive to me, actually. Yeah.
What? Huh?
No, you don't. You don't, boo. You should be submissive to me, actually. Yeah.
Oh,
she said it. She said it, not me.
We've seen some women so far with a real lack of self-awareness, but we gotta give props to this lady for her own insight and reflection. It's not easy to do that.
Why is every guy I'm in a relationship with exactly the same? The way they treat me, the way they cheat, the way they lie, the way they manipulate, the way they gaslight. And then I realized that I'm attracting men with the same pattern.
Have you guys noticed that some of my videos have gone missing over here on YouTube? That is because I am slowly moving them over to locals where I can actually host them without the risk of getting in trouble. If you are not aware, many creators are starting to move over to places like locals, Rumble, etc. because YouTube is not really a free speech platform. So if you are interested in supporting the channel and getting access to videos that are no longer available here, make sure that you come and join us over on locals. The link will be in the video description down below. Supporters get access to their own exclusive videos that are no longer available to the public. So make sure you go to the link in the description and join us over there now. But anyway, guys, back to today's episode. Yeah, just replace the word attracting with choosing. Maybe take some personal accountability here. Oh, I just keep attracting all of the men who cheat on me. I just keep attracting the men who don't want relationships with me. No, here's what's happening. You are choosing the same type of man. You are typically choosing a man with a lot of options, and he doesn't really value you that much. Okay? Guys, I've said this many times, but I think women are really out here shooting out of their league right? They think that they have a relationship with the guy, and then he goes and hooks up with a bunch of women, or they finally manage to lock down Chad, but, you know, he doesn't really feel the same way about her, to be honest, okay? These women need to humble themselves. They need to understand where they're at, and just because you think that you're a 10 doesn't mean that the guy who is a 10 is going to want you.
And I wanted to understand why. I know I deserve more. Why do I settle?
Ah, yes, there's that deserve word again. I deserve more. I keep attracting the bad boys. No, you're choosing the bad boys because they're attractive. And this whole deserve word, it has to go.
And then when I did therapy, my therapist told me you don't value yourself. You have no self-worth. And that's why you settle for anything.
Keeping a relationship.
Yeah, and before we continue to the next clip, this is actually really funny. This is what happens all the time, okay? Is they get to like 30, they're like, man, I'm sick of all the bad boys. And then they go out and they do their little healing journey thing, is what they like to call it. They're like, yeah, I'm going to go to therapy and do my healing. And then the conclusion that they all come to is, you know what? I need to not settle. I need to know what kind of man I want, and don't take anything less, because I know what I deserve, and I deserve more. That's the conclusion that they all come to, man. They get to this age, and then they self-rationalize the fact that they need a good man now, and they deserve to be treated better now after they've been screwing around with bad boys for the last 2 decades, right? Oftentimes these women go well into their 30s, which is why I say 2 decades. And it's just disgusting. So no, you don't deserve anything. Get out of here.
Relationship alive when it's an easy one is one thing, but when things get rough, that's when you usually learn about your significant other. And this woman managed to dodge a bullet, it seems.
I was just sitting here in my feelings a little bit, and I just had therapy 2 days ago and was talking a little bit more about my engagement that failed and broke up in 2021.
And so what I decided to do after my therapy appointment is I decided to boot up TikTok and record myself crying. You know, guys, even if this woman, right? If this woman right here, she went through something horrible, the thing that I never understand about these videos, or at least I do understand them, but me personally, I would never see myself doing this, is these individuals jump on TikTok and then they start talking about their problems. Like, why are you sharing your personal life problems that may or may not be very serious to a random bunch of strangers on the internet, right? And the reason why we do it, of course, is for attention. But it just, I never trust the person who jumps on the internet and cries on TikTok first. Even if the man has done something terrible, I'm always more inclined to believe that maybe you're crazy, because you're the one that's posting about it on TikTok, you see. It's not a good look if you're on TikTok crying, recording yourself, talking about your past failed relationships.
Right before my now ex-fiance left me while I was at work, moved out of my house while I was at work to take some time for himself because he needed to work on himself.
This sounds like what women do, man.
He left me for a flight attendant that he'd been talking to for months prior to that. Besides the point. So he left me for a flight attendant. And we got in this really big fight about, I don't know, probably a month before he left me. And I had just been diagnosed with CPTSD and was going through things with my therapist and was having these meltdowns and toddler-style temper tantrums, and they were absolutely uncontrollable, and I couldn't do anything about them. I just would rage and break things and end up hurting myself in the process, and then I would come back down and just be like, whoa, like this is so much, like I'm so sorry, like my partner shouldn't have to deal with this.
Right, so you were out here, this is what I'm telling you, man, okay? So according to her, she got left for the flight attendant, and he left while she was at work, and they'd been talking for months at a time, okay? Here's what I think happened. This woman had her crazy episodes, okay? So she's in her own words, she's going around, she's raging, she's breaking things, she's doing awful things, perhaps to herself as well. You know why this dude broke up with her while she was at work? Is because he didn't want to be on the receiving end of that. That's exactly why, okay? Imagine if the genders were reversed here and you had a dude who came on camera and he was like, yeah, man, I've got this particular mental issue, and oftentimes I just break a bunch of things, I rage, I end up hurting XYZ, I do all this sort of stuff, but whoa, she like left me and I'm just, you know, I'm taken aback, man. She left me for this dude who works at her office. It's like, of course she left you for the dude that works at the office, man. You're out here breaking stuff in the house all the damn time. You're crazy, you're raging. The dude, you know, the woman's probably, the woman's probably scared as hell of you, to be honest. I don't really believe this woman's story too much about the cheating part. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But listen, like, if your partner leaves you, I wouldn't be surprised if you're around here breaking things in the damn house. Like, this is what I'm talking about, guys, when I say that, like, dudes typically leave women for very serious reasons. This certainly qualifies.
Things and end up hurting myself in the process, and then I would come back down and just be like, whoa, like, this is so much, like, I'm so sorry, like, my partner shouldn't have to deal with this. Turns out, after I got left and continued therapy, I'm autistic, and I had never needed anyone more in my life because my mask was shattering around me.
What is with these people and just feeling the need to be diagnosed every 2 seconds? I go to my therapist and I got diagnosed with this, and I need this, and I need that. I mean, that's fantastic. All I'm hearing is what, like, a lot of you need, what I need. But the fact of the matter is that you're acting damn crazy in the house. You're throwing rage fits. You're breaking things. And you're sitting here talking about how you need the man to stick around. Again, guys, imagine if this was the reverse, right? You had a dude who was quite honestly quite violent, maybe doing awful things, breaking things, raging. And then he's like, I can't believe she left me when I needed her most. It's like, of course she left, bro. You're breaking things in the house. You're crazy.
Shattering around me, and I got left.
Yes.
To fend for myself.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here still thinking about that, because had I known that I had autism, would he have stayed? Who knows? Do I want him now? No, but
he wouldn't stay. It doesn't matter what thing you've magically diagnosed yourself with, okay? The words don't matter. The fact of the matter is you're acting crazy, so the dude left. Really quite simple. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.